Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my first impressions, obviously, and how they changed. If you're new to my channel, my name is Elise. I come from Norway. I make just videos about my new life here in Germany, and yeah, grab your coffee or drink or snack or whatever, and let's just... One of the first things that I were thinking about Germans in general was that they always were in a hurry. I think it may have seemed like that because they have those systems that are like that, pretty strict, or they're good systems and people have that mindset, and it works very good for the people who have that mindset, but for other people around maybe seems a little bit stressful. Maybe could be because I just was new to the country and things that were going on, I didn't really understand it because of the language and stuff like that. For example, in grocery stores, I just felt like things went like this. People just pack faster. Usually when you then pack and stuff, the cashier waits on you to be done until they start beeping the next customer, which I don't want them to wait on me, because if there's a line, everybody looks and like, oh, she's so slow, you know. So I like stress and like pack all my groceries as fast as I can. So looking at it now, I don't think that Germans in general are like stressful people and are always in a rush, but I just think that it might seem that way because Norwegians are very similar to Germans. Like, we don't stop people at the streets and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that culture might look like we are kind of, you know, focused doing our thing, you know. I think when you're used to systems being in a certain way, you obviously, for you, it will not be stressful anymore. It can take time though. I just think that I was the stressful one and was in my situation and my bubble and everything going around me. Moving on to the next impression that I had. So overall, in the beginning, I really thought that Germans were very polite, and especially in the way they spoke. When I started learning German, of course, I learned how they should speak to strangers or teachers or grown-ups in general, I think, or older people at least. You should use the formal way of saying. You don't say you, for example. You say, you know how they talk to royals, like, I don't know the English term for it, but in Norwegian, like, we would say de instead of du. In Germany, that case is sie. Instead of saying you as direct, they say like the. In Norway, that's really the opposite. We never do that anymore. I never did that in my life. We always just refer to everybody as you, as du. It's not rude and it doesn't sound rude either. When I moved to Germany, I felt like, okay, I was kind of less than older people, or like, you know what I mean? That's just because I'm not used to it. But I know in different cultures, like also in America, they do refer to the teachers with the last name, which in Norway we never do that anymore. I understand why it's nice to still do that. In that way, I thought that, okay, Germans are so polite, like, wow. But actually this impression of mine has really faded away. I do not see Germans as those very, very polite people anymore, because I feel like actions speak louder than words. There are some culture differences. I have noticed that in Norway, for example, you don't invade people's personal space. Like, we have that line where you don't cross that line, but for example in Germany, I've noticed that line is kind of smaller, and people, they don't have that same personal distance that we do in Norway. So my personal space, I have at least felt like, has been invaded multiple times because people have just almost bumped into me and without saying anything even, and that's their way of being. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I know they're not rude. It's just what they're used to, you know. So we are all different in that way. And I also noticed, of course, Germans are very direct and they will tell you how it is and if there is something. So coming from a country where you don't approach people no matter what, like, it can come across a little bit rude. Germans are not rude, okay? They can just maybe come across as rude, and that's just different cultures, like I said. I thought Germans were not patriotic at all. I thought, because people I knew didn't really celebrate the National Day, that was probably the first thing that made me think, oh, they just don't care so much about their country, you know. Obviously that's wrong, I know. In Norway, for example, we go full out on the National Day, and yeah, we just love our National Day. We are very patriotic in Norway. Norway is the best country you can ever go to and live in, which is wrong, but that's just the Norwegian mindset, I guess. I just had that impression that Germans weren't so proud of Germany, and I'm not really sure like how that really stands because I am not German. Throughout the time that I've lived in Germany, I have noticed many small details that have pointed in the direction that Germans are very proud of their architecture and about their food, and they have like those different things that traditions and stuff like that. I feel like Germany has so many things to offer and so many things that's like very big in the world, and while Norway is kind of the opposite. We are a very small country, not so many big things going around, you know, other than fish and oil. So I see it kind of differently now that, okay, Germans, they're patriotic in a way. That impression changed throughout the time. So yeah, interesting. Next thing was that I thought Germans were so organized and so amazing in having clean streets and also sorting trash like to the next level, and I still think that to this day, because if you just, okay, in the beginning I did not know about like the sorting system and the trash system and stuff like that, so in the way beginning when I saw all these trash bags, yellow trash bags, and all the trash just gathered in the streets, like not all around but like by the side of the road, I was like, this is so ugly, like what on earth, why are they doing this? It looks so terrible, you know. Of course it doesn't look good, but now I'm so used to it, you know. That's just how the system works, I guess. Germans are so good at sorting trash. I even googled it. I was like, girl, and I think they're one of the best in the world to sort trash, which is yeah, that's like one thing that I learned, was to sort trash in all these different categories. In Norway we are not so good, so we put a lot of the different things in the same trash, which is not so good, I guess, for the environment and stuff. We can learn a lot from Germany in that way. Next impressions, I hope people just don't take this personal. In the beginning, the first months, I experienced meeting a lot of people who didn't understand English so good and couldn't really talk English. I had that impression that, okay, we're in Germany, like we don't talk anything else except German. In Deutschland sprechen wir Deutsch. They will respond in German and stuff like that. And also my German teacher always spoke in English, and no matter what, it will take me asking 10 times for her to finally say the English words. I had the impression that, okay, wow, I need to learn German very fast now, because if not I cannot communicate with anyone, even people my age. How I see it now is much different than how I used to see it. I have experienced much better encounters with people who speak very good English. It was just random. I just had a bad experience, and I guess that was just unfortunate. In Norway we are in general very good in English, because Norwegian is a very small language and you need kind of English to communicate to other countries. While Germany is a super big language, and yeah, it's just a very big difference there. So yeah, I get why we are better than Germans. I'm actually glad that that turned out to be different than what I thought. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is maybe not controversial, but I guess it's a little bit like debatable. When we looked for houses, my standard of houses was so much different to what my husband's standards were. So mine were up here and his was like here. Because he knows like this is his standard, and you know what you get for the money and stuff. Almost every house we looked into had to have renovations. They were 100 years old, they were very old, or like they needed so many things done in the house, and also they looked very old and very not renovated at all. Most houses at least. So you had to pay much higher price for what you get, and I know the house market changes all the time. In Norway we have wood houses, here you have stone houses. Could be something with that, I'm not sure, but because stone houses, they last a lot longer. Anyways, in Norway I was just used to getting a very modern renovated house for a certain price. Like you have everything, you're good to go kind of for a good price. But here you kind of had that price, but you had to do everything on top of that, if that makes sense. My standard went from this to like much lower. In Norway we gain a lot more because things are more expensive, right? In Germany they gain less, but things are cheaper, kind of. I'm not sure how it is now, but they were house prices were much lower than the German house prices, or they were like kind of at the same thing, but in Germany you had to like renovate a lot. I'm not sure if I'm even making sense, but at least my impression was that wow, like it surprised me. I'm just used to a lot of things now. I have felt culture shock in a way, but not like to a very big extent. Probably would have felt that more if I moved to another continent or something like that. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please leave your thoughts down below. Feel free, and yeah, I just wish you guys a great day today, and I will see you guys very soon again. Bye!